So after having about 3 to 4 days with a complete mental roadblock on where to take the game, I was able to learn more about the Roman era, and for my game I'm now implementing festivals and tours. Because from what I understood, the idea is that gladiators, at least in Roman times, would go on tours. But, these tours would usually last, from maybe 3 to 7 days, where they would basically attend a festival and they would perform all kinds of shows from fighting to just shows of strength. And what I'm basically doing is something similar to this. So, in terms of the gameplay loop, really, this is how it looks. You will select a faction, you'll go to your Ludus hub, Ludus being your gladiator school. From there, you'll then see invitations from nobles in terms of inviting you to perform at certain games, at certain festivals. You'll then travel there. While you travel there, depending on the distance it takes, depends on the road events that happen along the way. Interestingly enough, when, back in sort of, I guess the Roman times, when gladiators would travel, you'd have gladiators that might get sick, that might even get ambushed, etc. So in the game, I'm basically implementing road events that can happen over time. Now, road events that happen, you will have three decisions that you can make. One of the things as well is for the game when it comes to random events and decisions, I want it to still somewhat feel like in control for the player. One of the things I was thinking about is, oh, well, what if you make a decision, there's a 20% chance for it to go wrong or whatever, but I figured that that is just annoying in my opinion. So, although the random events will ideally be random, the way you handle them will be definite in terms of you will know what the outcome is if you do this thing. So that's one of the things. But when you eventually get to the actual festival itself, that's when there will be something of a time system in terms of a morning, afternoon, evening, and night cycle, where you'll get there maybe, say, at day zero. Let's say the festival lasts, I don't know, 3 days. Then from there, you then basically want to prepare yourself as best as possible, where each day there will be a certain fight for you to enter your gladiators into to perform. But around that, you could, for example, train your gladiators. You could try and gain more hype for your team so that when you do get into the arena, you start off with a bit more of an advantage. You could even talk to rival Lannistas and such. So there's a lot of moving pieces with it, but that's sort of the idea. And then really, you then obviously travel back, have some road events, maybe even get ambushed on the way back, and then eventually arrive back at your Ludus. So there's still obviously a lot of things that I need to do with that, and I'm still trying to get clarity on that. One of the things we're going to be focusing more so on is the rival factions. So at the moment, there are 9 factions for you to pick from in the beginning, each of which have their own buff, etc. The idea that the remaining 8 factions that you didn't pick then become your rivals, and they sort of basically go up and down ranks and are also aiming to reach Primus at the very top. And the idea, really, or at least from what I could see in terms of, what they did in Roman times, is that you did actually have rival Lannistas that would form, I think, like political, engagements or alliances in order to perhaps, compete against the, I guess, better performing Lannistas and better performing sort of Luduses. So, my idea really is that when you do sort of, go and travel and you are in these festivals, perhaps you can actually engage and build relationship with these, other rivals. And perhaps in the initial stage, if you're quite low rank, then they might want to support you, or they might want to do perhaps, trading gladiators, etc. But as you raise your rank and as you get closer to Primus, that's when people could betray you, etc. So yeah, I want it to feel as if you're not just necessarily competing to just get to number one, but you're also competing against those other factions. So it's trying to get that to feel quite good, because I know with things like Mount and Blade Bannerlord 2, obviously it's a very different game, but the idea that all of the other, kingdoms and sort of clans and stuff are all doing their own thing, for me felt really interesting, and so I'm trying to incorporate a bit of that into the game. But overall, in terms of just getting things done, it's been all right. Obviously, I did have that mental roadblock, and I think that's naturally going to come every now and then. But we've been working on that a bit more. So moving forward, in terms of next week, we're going to be focusing on probably making the faction leader portraits. And perhaps even some dialogue bits. I would like this to feel a little more sort of personal in terms of, instead of just seeing, I don't know, a letter of a rival Ludus, going to challenge you to something or offer some sort of deal. I'd like, the relevant portrait to appear, for a bit of dialogue to happen, and for you to actually make decisions. I think that would be quite nice. So we're probably going to focus on that moving forward. And also, I've now been starting to look at the new ChatGPT image model, and from what I'm concerned with, it's really, really good, far better than Nano Banana 2. So that's probably what I'm going to be using moving forward. So that's all very, very exciting. As for the timeline for the game, it should pretty much be, similar to what I was saying previously. Likelihood is I will be releasing or looking to at least submit my demo by early June. So I've applied for the Steam Fest, which is mid-June. So I'm probably going to be basically looking to get a demo out by then. So pretty much we're looking at, I guess, about a month and a week. So I don't know, 5 weeks time. So we still, got a pretty good timeline, but I'll keep you in the loop. If you have any questions or things around what I'm doing, feel free to ask. And if you are interested in Primus and you want to support me, feel free to wishlist the game. But that said, appreciate you watching, and I'll catch you soon.